So I quite enjoy it actually, just sitting there and answering a few questions. But a great opportunity for Jamie Cox. I mean, you know, it was a coup getting him in the tournament, but to get the pick of George Groves in the first round for the world title was a dream come true. And you can't underestimate the hunger that Cox has going into this fight. It's not, you know, a lot of people talk about Jamie Cox in boxing. It's not going to be a surprise him winning on Saturday night for a lot of people. It will for the wider audience, but no, he's very highly regarded. Everyone talks about his power, how hard he can punch. We're going to see it, aren't we, on Saturday night?
When you signed him, this was obviously not on the agenda.
I'd love to say it was.
Yeah.
But, no, we signed
what
Jamie
was,
Cox.
What was the plan?
We signed Jamie Cox because everybody that I'd spoke to, who he'd sparred with, or you know, who'd seen him, just said this kid can fight. He can punch so hard. He's a good-looking boy, you know, etc., etc. And I liked him. I had a meeting with him. I liked he'd never really been given the opportunities, and I felt that this is a guy who actually, if you open him up to the big stage, will perform and can perform. So we boxed at Bramall Lane. When people talk about the big stage, don't forget there was 26,000 there at Bramall Lane. Maybe 15 was sitting down when he was boxing, but still a big stage. And then Calla came on. Calla was actually there that night and came on and said, oh, you know, he's got the perfect unblemished record in terms of no defeats. He looks the part. We'd be interested in Jamie Cox. Obviously, that was a no-brainer for Jamie to go into the tournament. Actually, a life-changing opportunity for him, really. But to get this shot, you know, shocked us all, to be honest with you. And what a great chance. And he's been quietly going about his business. Understand he's the underdog. But again, it wouldn't surprise anyone with a Jamie Cox win on Saturday.
He hasn't said it for a while, but I think when he first picked Jamie Cox, George sort of said it's an opportunity to get the overall match from the draw.
Yeah.
He hasn't said it recently, though, to be fair, but that must be quite nice for you to hear that he's...
Yeah, that we're not very well liked, you know what I mean? But sometimes it can come back and bite you in the arse. And, you know, obviously, I think the Wembley fight for George against Froch took him a long time to get over that. I mean, that was... To get knocked out like that on a stage like that must have hurt, and I admire him for the way he's come back, and I admire him for the way he's won a world title, and I like George Groves. He's not the fighter he was. He's still one of the top fighters in the division, but he's not the fighter he was against Carl Froch in the first fight. You know, he was a very, very dangerous fighter then, very fast, very spiteful, very fearless. Now, he may be cuter, but he's not as good as he was then. I think he was a very dangerous fighter back then. He can still punch, he has good size, great jab, but he's beatable. He can be hurt, he can be hurt, and he's not fought a puncher since he got knocked out against against Carl Froch. You know, you go through it, you know, Badu Jack, Rebrasse, De Luisa, you know, Martin Murray at super middle is not a particularly big puncher. Good-necked, you know, Chudinov, they're not punchers. Jamie Cox is very, very hard, and George Groves can be hurt, but he's also very, very good. So I think it's a really good fight.
I'm sure you kind of followed Jamie Cox even before you signed him, knew about him. George kind of made a point up there that for some reason or other it hasn't happened for him yet. He won the Commonwealth Games ages ago. And people have always been talking about him as this real dark horse, and he's a southpaw who can punch, but it hasn't happened for him yet. Any ideas why?
Yeah, because he's been a little bit ill-disciplined out of the ring. It's very easy for fighters to get demotivated when they haven't got structure in their life or their career or a plan. There's nothing worse for a fighter than you box and then you don't hear from your promoter or your team for a couple of months, and then you're just like, you've got to keep the fighter motivated. They need to know when they're boxing. And when they've got a clear plan, it's very straightforward: fight, rest, train. And you can see where you're going. I don't think he had that. I don't think he had the right structure. He wasn't motivated, so he never got the best out of him. Now he is. And the big question is, can he perform at this level? He's never performed this level before. He's never been at this level before. But if he's as good as people talk about, and I'm not talking about some old promoter, I'm talking about people who know the game, know the boxing, world champions, then he can win on Saturday night. But he's got to perform under that pressure.
What Eubank did at the weekend has kind of added significance on this fight. There's loads of people here, you know, there's a lot of talk about what's Saturday night. Do you think there's a danger, well, not a danger from your point of view, but do you think George might be looking past Jamie a bit?
Not really. I think he's too long in the tooth for that. You know, I think Shane will make sure that doesn't happen as well. This tournament's quite unique in that you know what your purses are for that fight anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, this could open a massive fight with Chris Eubank, because your money's the same as it is against Eubank, might be as it is against Cox.
Or Yildirim.
So you're not on the verge of this massive pay-per-view payday. You're just gonna, you know what you're getting. So it doesn't, if it's Eubank, Eubank. If it's got, he may prefer it. He might have preferred it to be Yildirim because the potentially easier fight and same money. So I think George is smart enough to know this is a threat. He obviously picked Jamie because he feels like he is small and he's unproven. So I don't think they'll be overlooking Jamie, but obviously a lot of people are thinking Groves against Eubank, but it's a chance for Jamie to upset those plans.
Just one point on that semi-final, potential semi-final, whoever it is. You're probably the promoter who's put on the most stadium fights in the world over the last 5 years or so. They're talking about maybe going outside in January, February.
I spoke to Keller about it. Listen.
Have you got a big enough coat?
Brits are nutty enough to go to anything, and it's a good fight, so I think they'll still go. The problem is the inclement weather. That's the problem. I still think it'll settle. I don't think people will go, oh, it's too cold, I'm not going. Brits are nuts. But the problem is if it's a snowstorm, or if it's snowing, or it's freezing, or it's raining, or so, And January's because of the way the tournament's structured, January's a terrible month for that fight. Like really, it's a March, April, May, June fight, but it is what it is. It's got to go somewhere. And I think the only one that's available down south is Wembley Arena, which holds 9,000. So
not enough for Groves. Well, it's not enough for whatever it is. But while I've got you, ask you about your call, your show on Friday night. Massive opportunity for Reece Bellotti, and his 11th fight, Commonwealth title.
Reece Bellotti, he's going slightly under the radar, but he's 10 wins, 9 KOs. He's probably the hardest hitting featherweight, well, certainly domestically. And I probably include Frampton and Selby and all those boys in that. Jason Cunningham's, it's a real tough test for him because he's still learning. But he can really punch. He's very excited. He's got half of Watford coming down to York on Friday night. Be a great atmosphere. You've got Tasha Jonas on the card as well. You've got Charlie Edwards, Isaac Chamberlain. You've got Harlem Eubank as well, who I'm excited to see fight. Ted Cheeseman. And Adam Booth tells me a lot about Harlem Eubank. I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, what have you heard? Is he chip off the old block?
Adam phoned me up and said...
he's a nephew, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Simon Eubank's son.
Simon's son, yeah.
So Chris's nephew. But I trust Adam Booth. And he said, give this kid a try. I think he's from the same mould. So we'll see.
Charlie Edwards. After when Carrier 5-1 in Birmingham, you said that could actually become.
That's the fight we're looking at. Yeah, that's the fight we're looking at. The only thing is with Cal
as a defence of the of his title.
He's so lucky, Cal, because the super flyweight division has become so lucrative, and HBO want him to go and box on the next super fly show. So his life is about to change dramatically. But he has a really tough fight, Cal, against Ishida on the Joshua card. Again, people sometimes, because they haven't heard of someone, they just presume it's an easy fight. It's because like 26-0 out of Japan, where a lot of the top fighters come from in that weight class. If he can win that, like I said, his life's about to change.
Just finally, before I let you go, the obligatory Anthony Joshua question. Not long now. How's he looking?
Good. He's having a good camp. We know what to expect from Pulev, and again, there's another fight where people just presume that he's going to bulldoze Pulev. But when you look at the landscape of the world heavyweight division, let's rank the guys. Anthony Joshua number 1. Number 2 is Deontay Wilder. Number 3, it's Pulev. I mean, that's what the Ring magazine says. And if he's not 3, he's 4 or 5. So he's a top 5 heavyweight, Pulev. And in my opinion, Pulev beats Joseph Parker. So, I think this is a real fight, a real test, coming off the back of a Klitschko fight, where his sort of emotions, still sky high. But he's been back to business, he's been back improving. Very impressive the way he goes about it in camp. He knows he made mistakes against Klitschko. He's working to rectify those, and you're going to see a ruthless Anthony Joshua on October 28th.
And I read that Ortiz might still be his mandatory with the BA.
I don't know, I can't see how, but I had an argument with Ortiz's manager the other day, just because I said that Ortiz should be banned from the sport. He said no, it was blood pressure tablet, I'll leave it to them, but we've got to just worry about ourselves, concentrate on our business, and deal with Pulev on October 28th, because there's so much on the line.